Hey everybody, it's Dr. Will Cole. We're live here on Facebook and simultaneously on Instagram Live, guys. This is groundbreaking technological tech. We're doing some groundbreaking stuff, guys. I can't speak. I just got done from a long podcast talking about a lot of good health stuff, and we're continuing the conversation on social media. And Karen over on Instagram wants to hear about this stuff. We're going to talk all about tea, all about coffee, guys. And we've been doing these Tuesday Facebook Lives on Facebook Live, and occasionally we do them on Instagram. Today we're doing both, where we talk about different functional medicine health topics. We see patients around the world via our virtual functional medicine practice, via webcam and phone consultations, via Skype and FaceTime and Google Hangout. About 80% of our patients are done via the web interface that we're speaking through now. And some of our patients are locally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So for those of you who do not know about functional medicine, look back on our previous videos because you'll get to learn about functional medicine. It's a lot of my friends in the wellness world, for those of you that are into that kind of stuff. So we all have our favorite morning drink, right? I have mine like right over there, and it's not even morning. It's going to continue through the afternoon. And people love tea and coffee. So is it bad? Is it good? You hear all this conflicting stuff online. Like, what the heck should you be doing? It's maddening. And I think this brings home the bigger point that functional medicine, I think, really excels at, is that even with healthy things, even with real foods, what works for one person may not be right for the next person. So we have to dig down deep and find out, customize it based on the individual. So for tea and coffee, it's no exception. So for coffee, is it good or is it bad? And you hear a lot of conflicting stuff online. And I think that let's break it down. I think the quality of the coffee is important, and coffee can be sprayed with a lot of stuff that's not so good for our health, like pesticides and herbicides and things that can be a toxic load to people's body. And some people are affected by it more than other people, but it doesn't make it healthy for anybody. Some people's tolerance or threshold is just a little bit greater than others. So looking at organic versus non-organic coffee, kind of a no-brainer out of the gate. I think I would definitely go for organic. And I would also go for third-party tested coffee for looking for mold levels, which some coffee can have higher levels of mold, which people that are sensitive to that could be more problem for other people. So people are going through with compromised immune systems, obviously looking for foods that are higher in mold. Coffee can be one of them, so that's a good thing too. But what I want to talk about more than anything is a gene. It's your caffeine gene. We all have it. It's called I'm going to get it right, CYP1A2, and it is your caffeine gene. And it is a detoxification gene that determines how fast or how slow your body detoxes caffeine. And what researchers are finding is that it's down to this gene, this funny acronym, numbers and letters sounding, Star Wars sounding caffeine gene determines how your body tolerates caffeine to a large extent. So if you're a fast metabolizer of caffeine, then your body actually does really well with caffeine. And if you're a slower or the slowest form of this gene variant, your body is not so good with handling caffeine. And that's in coffee and in tea and obviously in sports drinks and things like that. But this conversation is going to be down to the real food of coffee and tea. So anyways, this caffeine gene, if you're a fast metabolizer, what researchers have found is that the more that you drink of caffeine, caffeinated drinks like coffee, actually the more health benefits that people see with this gene variant. So they have decreased cancer, decreased chronic diseases, decreased diabetes, longer lives, basically longer, healthier lives free of disease, the people that are the fast metabolizers. Remarkably, the people with the slower variant, slowly polymorphism, the variant of the caffeine gene, the more coffee they drank, the increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Not good. So it is really down to many things, but one of them is to genetics and how our body tolerates even this real food of coffee. And that also applies to tea. So this is one of the genes that we test for people around the world. We just drop ship the lab, download the raw gene data, and find out how your body processes caffeine. But many people know, even without running those labs, how they feel on things like coffee. So if they're getting jittery just from having like a couple sips of coffee or a cup of coffee or even looking at coffee, that's kind of extreme now, but it could happen, I guess. But basically, if you have a really low threshold for coffee, you probably, and it's worth testing to know for sure, but you may have this slower metabolism of the caffeine gene. So something to consider. And after we're done off of this Facebook/Instagram Live, I will post the research over on Facebook Live. So everybody on Instagram, hop over to Facebook for the research on that. So look at this. And I also put an article on cold brew because people are into cold brew and they want to know, is cold brew healthier or not? I'll post all the research on that and how cold brew is different than traditional coffee in the comment section below on Facebook Live too. I'm looking over on Instagram. I'm trying to give you guys equal attention. I don't want you to get a complex or anything like that. So tea. I had coffee this morning. I have to say I had coffee this morning, but this afternoon I'm having some tea. And I've had my genes tested, and I actually am a fast metabolizer of caffeine. I do fine on it. So let's talk about that gene for a second. Does that mean with people that are slow metabolizers they shouldn't have any caffeine? Not necessarily. It just means they're going to have to be extra careful with limiting it. And some people can't have any at all. They just don't feel well on any of it, and it's impacting their labs, it's impacting how they feel on their quality of life. For those people, you may have to avoid it entirely, but for most people, even with the slow metabolizers, that they just limit the amount that they're having, they should be fine. But everybody's different, right? So then the second thing would be tea. And I'm a big tea aficionado, if I do say so myself. And tea, the actual true tea, is all from the same plant. So black tea, green tea, white tea, and oolong tea are actually all from the same plant, if you didn't know that. It's how it's prepared and grown that determines the quality and the taste and the context of it all. So black tea is typically more oxidized, and it's roasted a little bit differently than, let's say, an oolong tea. And then the least processed, the ones that are the least a little bit more in their virginal state, let's say that, are the white tea, which is the most, it's picked younger, it's specific type of leaf, and then green tea, a lot of different green teas are grown in different specific ways, like matcha is grown under the shade, living that luxurious life, and it has higher amounts of polyphenols, it has higher amounts of chlorophyll, which makes it this sort of bright thing. And Yvette is listening right now. Yvette is normally my team member that's on the other side of this. She's in Israel right now, and she's still working in Israel right now and checking out my Facebook Live, making sure that I'm doing my job and showing up. And I did come a little bit late, so I apologize for that. So, and then obviously you have herbal tea. So herbal tea has tons of health benefits too, without the caffeine, other than yerba mate, which does have some caffeine. So you can get dandelion, you can get echinacea tea, you can get a lot of good rooibos, like African redbush tea, if you don't want the caffeine. There's a lot of good health benefits for herbal tea. And I'll be having an article on that come out soon on My Body Green that's not out yet. So what's better, caffeine or coffee? Well, overall, coffee has more caffeine than tea, but it depends on how you brew the coffee, and it also depends on how you brew the tea. You can brew some strong batches. So it's how you tolerate caffeine, it's your genetics, it's how you feel on caffeine, and if you want the lower, someone is saying, another Yvette from Laredo, Texas is listening too. Awesome. We have multiple Yvettes here. So it really depends on your own taste, how you tolerate caffeine. Go for organic either way. With tea, you can have higher heavy metals. So look for variations or sources from Japan, which tends to have lower heavy metals. Look for organic, which is more pure as a general rule too. And avoid tea from China, which can have higher heavy metals as well. So whether you like tea or coffee, it's down to taste, it's down to the sourcing of it, it's down to how you brew it. For a full guide on tea, like everything you need to know about tea and everything you need to know about coffee and cold brew, look in the comment section below on Facebook, because there's a lot of cool peer-reviewed literature. I kind of spent quite a bit of time summarizing the studies on the topic and hopefully bringing it to you in a practical and easy to understand way. All right, guys. Hope you like this little Facebook/Instagram Live. For more information about what we do, you can head on over to drwillcole.com. That's drwillcole.com. I'll put in the comment section below again if you if you want to just click that instead of typing it out. I live to serve, guys. All right, guys, I will see you next time. I need to quit saying guys. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.